For the amount of times that I've had folks asking me about how do I leave a narcissistic relationship or how do I leave a narcissist, for the many times that I've had folks asking me that, I think it's time for me to really talk about it. And I'm gonna tell you something, it's not going to be an easy task. It's going to literally be one of the most difficult things that you are going to do in your lifetime. And I know that you know what it means to be in a relationship with a narcissist. So get ready because the road's gonna get really bumpy. And preferably, if you don't still have feelings for that person, it's gonna be a little bit easier. But if you do, understand it's not going to be as easy as me explaining you the steps. And another thing that I really need you to keep in mind is that you need to keep tab on everything that you are doing around the narcissist within the path of leaving the relationship. Why do you need to do that? Is because you're gonna need every single proof of things they've done to you, because by the time you need to leave that person, they're going to play every tricks in the book for them to get you back. And if there are kids in the mix, you have to be very smart about it. I'm just going to let you know ahead of time, it's not going to be an easy task. On that note, let's go ahead and talk about the 3 steps that you're gonna need to leave a narcissistic relationship or to leave a narcissist. For those of you already part of the community, thank you so very much for everything that you've been doing to support the channel. And if you are new around, on this channel we give relationship advice. If this is something that you're into, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell because we've got a lot to talk about. The very first step that I've seen a lot of people failed on is the fact that they are going to tell the narcissist that they are trying to leave them. This is the very first problem. This is the very first reason a lot of people have failed to leave a narcissistic relationship, because you are not supposed to let a narcissist know that you're trying to leave them. No, you are not supposed to let them know. You are not supposed to make them feel. You are not supposed to even approach them with that idea, because from the minute they realize that you are trying to leave, that's when they're gonna start to do everything under the sleeves to either hurt you or to keep you. This is something that you have to really understand. This is not a joke. You are not to make a narcissist feel that you are trying to leave the relationship. This is when you are to be at your best behavior, because it is very important that you keep the waves going as peaceful as you can, because you do not want to give them any idea. From the point they realize that you're trying to leave them, they're gonna start to go after you mentally, they're gonna try to go after you emotionally, and sometimes when they realize they are not winning, they're gonna try to go after you physically. And that's why I always tell folks within that path, it's best to even use their own method against them by giving them the portion of love bombing. This is something that you really need to pay attention to. You are to keep everything secret. You do not want to talk to anybody who could be associated with that narcissist. You do not want to give anybody, including the narcissist, the idea that you're trying to leave the relationship. I'm letting you know ahead of time, this is one of the reasons why a lot of you guys are trying to leave that relationship but couldn't, because each and every time you realize that you're about to do that, they automatically change the method. They'll automatically put the play together again, to the point where they're gonna make you feel that they are changed people, to the point where they're gonna make you feel there's still hope for the relationship, or they could use the mental abuse process to the point where they're gonna tell you things like, you are not good to anybody. Why are you trying to leave? Because nobody is trying to be with you. That's when it's so important to keep your mouth shut. That's when it's so important to not give them any ideas, because from the point you do, you've automatically failed yourself from ever leave this narcissistic relationship. Now let's jump for step 2. Step 2 is something that a lot of you are familiar with, but despite the fact that you already know it, it's still very difficult for you to apply it. Step 2 is to cut the emotional plug. Yes, you need to cut the emotional plug. And when I say emotional plugs, a lot of people expect that I'm not going to be submissive. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how you used to react when this narcissist used to hurt your feelings. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the numbness. you're going to have to be numb. And remember, at the beginning of the video, I said something about you still having feelings for that narcissist is going to be a problem. You still loving that person could be a problem because of emotional connections alone. This person could find ways to get back into the regular emotional control, because if you already cut the emotional plug, there's no way that this person is going to control you emotionally anymore if you already controlling your mental, because anytime they were to do something to you, you ought to react with a complete opposite reaction. Yes, this is when the person's gonna start realizing that, whoa, what is going on? Because most of the time when I trying to play with her self-esteem, she'll end up crying. When I trying to tell her that nobody wants her, she usually come back to me for comfort. But right now, what is going on? Why she's not reacting to the things that I say? Why she's not reacting to the bad things that I usually do to her? What's really going on? And from that point, they're gonna lose complete control because you are not reacting to the foolishness they used to do to you, because at that point, you have complete control of yourself. I hope that you understand everything that was said so far. Let's go ahead and jump for number 3. Number 3 is one of the most important things that you need to understand, is to set up firm, strong boundaries. Yes, firm, strong boundaries. And it's going to be easier for you to do it. And that's the reason why I put it as the 3rd step. Because if you are still emotionally attached, if you still have your emotions all over the place, if your mental is not straight, you are not going to be able to respect or to reinforce the boundaries that you placed against that narcissist to protect yourself. Because by the time they're trying to cross them, you are not going to be capable to stop them from ever crossing them. That's why it's important to free yourself mentally and emotionally to the point where you could have complete control of yourself. And by the time that you set those walls, by the time you set the boundaries, they ought to understand this is a done deal. We are done here. This is me taking full control of my life. You are not to control me anymore. Therefore, you ought to either follow my boundaries or get out of my life. You understand what I just said? Get out of my life. This is you becoming yourself again. And of course, there's going to be a lot more healing to do. But at this point, you've already put the trash bag out. This is you taking over your life the way it was supposed to be at the very beginning. But this narcissist tricked you into his narcissistic methods. So now you are regaining everything that was taken from you. And when you really think about it, they don't know exactly what you're trying to do. If you're trying to stay in a relationship or if you're trying to leave, that's one. That's already confusing. Second of all, you do not react to the emotional triggers. The things that used to take you down are not even attacking you anymore because you already got that mental and emotional control. Third of all, you are setting up boundaries. You basically doing exactly what they never thought you were capable of doing. And that's when, and only then, if you were to walk away from that person, you won't even have to think about you going back to them, because not only they won't even trust you to be in a relationship with them, because they're going to realize that they lost control over you. At this point, there's no need to even think about a relationship, and that's when you're gonna walk out completely unexpected out of that narcissistic relationship or out of that narcissistic man or woman. I also wanted to say a narcissist can be a woman, a narcissist could be a man. There is no specific gender role when it comes to a narcissist. A narcissist could be a woman, a narcissist could be a man. And by using those 3 steps, I know for sure you can actually walk away from this narcissistic relationship that was sucking the life out of you. On that note, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If I've missed something in the process, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.